Hello and welcome to another matchup for the RedBull Esports Champions League. We are still on the group stages. It's day 2 of the 3 days that the group stage will be running. We are of course at a live event, or at least the players are, and we are gonna see Orange taking on Vici Gaming to see who takes the 1 point that is up for grabs in this matchup. Each group has 6 teams. There's 2 groups. Each team face each other once. And the bottom 2 of each group get dropped out. So you need to be under the top 4 to make it through. And for that, this is actually a very important match. Vikromon, my co-caster, will be able to tell you more about that.
Sure.
Are you
good to be back. It's Group A is, as we've said a couple times, probably the easier draw. I would expect both of these teams to advance to the playoffs as long as they can both beat Royal. And I think that's very, very doable for both of them. But Orange, they would love to come out not 4th. I mean, both teams, honestly. The 4th place team from each group will fight the 1st place team from the other group. So if you're in Group A, it certainly behooves you to try to get 3rd or better. And to do that, the path for both of these teams is really through each other. The matchups against IG and LGD China will be difficult for both of these teams. Of course, Orange already lost to both of those. Yeah. So Orange really needs this win against Vici. Vici still has a bite at the apple, I think. I think they still have to face... Who have they faced so far? I don't remember. But regardless, I think both teams will really, really want this win in particular because it's their best route to take 3rd rather than 4th in the group. Yeah. And starting off, VG securing Gyrocopter, a good, solid carry for ZSMJ to play that's strong early in clashes and can scale very well to the late game. And Visage, which I'm very excited to see because, in my opinion, FY on VG is one of the best Visage players in the world.
Oh, I'm interesting to see that one then. By the way, the team that VC Gaming already faced once was Royal. So they've already faced Royal. They are on 1-1 score, and of course Orange 2-0. So I think it's an important match for Orange. VC at least already got 1 win under their belt, but then again, as you mentioned, up against a team that Orange still has to face, and up against a team that is, on paper, a little bit less than Orange should be. But yeah, we have the first round of picks already done, and we are in the second round of bans. We have got a Lifestealer and an Anti-Mage banned out by VC Gaming. They already got themselves a Gyrocopter, so, you know, they don't need any carry anymore. Though I would like to see them go for dual core just because they can. Weaver is still in the pool for that, for example. We have got ourselves a ban on the Dragon Knight, with Orange picking up and a Rubik and a Chen. They basically say, we need 3 cores. And that is actually quite a lot of pressure on those 3 cores. And even though, you know, they don't give away too much about their lineup and what they're actually planning on doing, they do make it easy for VC to ban out just the heroes that they don't want to face. And with the ban out for the Nyx Assassin, that's at least Nyx Assassin Visage, the combination, the strong combination, no longer there. So, yeah, we still have the Shadow Demon in the pool though.
Yeah, there's still a lot available for... I think VG will still be fine picking up supports. Also, we see some very Mushi targeted bans. The first ban OD, because of course that's a hero that Mushi has played very effectively, even before it became a very fashionable hero to play. Mushi was playing this hero quite a bit, even in tournaments like G1 the previous season. And the anti-mage ban, of course, also directly targeted at Mushi. He is an excellent anti-mage farmer and would be able to possibly just take over a game. I think VG, because their style doesn't delegate a tremendous amount of free farm to ZSMJ, they don't want this matchup to devolve into a farming race between Mushi and ZSMJ because it just doesn't favor the style of play that VG try to put out. They want to take over this game with FY and have ZSMJ just get enough farm to mop it up and take it to high ground if they are to win.
Yeah, and yesterday we saw actually Mushi playing the solo mid role with KYXY in the hard carry position. He played a lot of Gyrocopter, but of course VC already picking that up for themselves, so not leaving too many heroes in the pool for him to play, as we have got both teams picking up a solo Windrunner and Beastmaster. Of course, Beastmaster probably... Actually, they could both be mid, they could both be offlane. It's really up to personal preference, and of course, what they managed to catch as the last pickup for the solo lanes next to the core.
Yeah, I would say that most likely this is going to be a mid Beastmaster. You have a little more comfort running the offlane Beastmaster on Dire than you do on Radiant. Not that it's impossible to do it on Radiant, depending on the tri-lane you're facing, but I don't think that they'll run this. It's more likely that it will be a mid Beastmaster, and they're going to seek to fill out the tri lane and find an offlane hero. Still a lot available for the offlane. Only really the Darkseer is gone. There's still things like Clockwork. Even Weaver, who we've seen more and more of a ban priority lately, remains in the pool.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised because I think VC would have liked to have that just as an extra core. I already mentioned that, but Orange, I mean, they still need two cores as well, so could see them picking it up, but they're taking their time about thinking about what they're gonna pick up next. Now, which carries would they still be wanting to pick up? Wow.
They may not. It could be farming Windrunner. That's something Orange run fairly frequently.
And then a heavy push coming out from Nature's Prophet and Chen. I mean, I like farming Windrunner, but I mean, that just because if they then pick up another offlaner or a solo mid that doesn't really have any carry potential, they kind of lock themselves in while they are up against a team that has a way better late game than they would have, depending on what they pick last.
That's true. I mean, keep in mind they could also run Mushi mid Windrunner, still pick up a carry for KYXY, and just run the Nature's Prophet off lane / jungle. I think that's potentially very strong. I am very interested in this late-breaking trend, in my opinion, of the Naga Siren picks, and right now it looks to me like this is a Naga Siren support again, so something that we're seeing more and more in this particular tournament. I think the Chinese are regarding this as some fairly potent new tech, and it is a pretty strong choice. It's got a lot of tools that make it a good support as long as you can sustain mana.
Yeah, you can of course ensnare, locking anybody in place, even if they have BKB. You've got your Riptide minus armor for everybody, and not to mention the song. I mean, that's the reason why she will always be strong no matter how much you nerf her. That song is just so potent in terms of setting up for kills or setting up for a retreat, of course, just as important. We've got a Lone Druid getting banned out. Interesting to see that because Lone Druid has not been picked up yet in this tournament, actually. Like, in all the games.
That's true. Honestly, it somewhat surprises me. I think Lone Druid it's actually shocking in some respect because Lone Druid was valued by Chinese teams as a first pick worthy hero since way before the armlet bug. It was years that this hero was considered premier top tier, and just a nerf that is a substantial nerf, but he's still a fairly strong hero. I'm somewhat surprised that he's just completely fallen out, except teams like Alliance that, really love him. But still, he was an offlane option here that Orange would find difficulty punishing heavily. They don't really have tools to easily kill the bear. They do secure the Weaver for themselves, and this looks to me like Weaver tri-lane, Windrunner mid, Nature's Prophet solo, and I like it from Orange.
Yeah, I said the Weaver, I think twice now that I would like to see him, but I don't agree with. Yeah, I agree with it. Of course, it could work, but it's like they're limiting their possibilities in terms of late game, and I normally find that pretty. Like you're fighting within a time limit. It's so tough to really deal with that if you're Orange. It really relies if the laning stage goes badly for Orange.
Sure.
They're gonna have a very tough time the rest of the game.
I definitely agree. I do think that if they manage to farm up the Weaver, they do have some. I think they have good late game auto attack potential. Gyrocopter is not the tankiest of heroes, and he frequently rushes BKB. But I'm not sure BKB actually solves his survivability problems here, because if Nature's Prophet has a pretty good game, and we know that Ohio plays a fairly excellent Nature's Prophet, he can get quite a bit of auto attack, as well as Scythe of Vice to force out the BKB. KYXY will deal a large amount of single target damage on Weaver, and Gyrocopter is a pretty large source of VG's damage. I actually think VG are just as under the gun to generate opportunities early as Orange are, because they're going to want this Visage to be fairly dominant. If it's not, I actually could see Gyrocopter falling early in fights, especially if they're unable to secure easy Roshans, which they are Radiant, so it won't be trivial for VG to get that Aegis every time.
Yeah, a lot depends on the laning stage and of the rotations of that X will make on his Chen as well. But we'll see how they lane this. Of course, on the side of Orange, they are on the dire side this game. Net will play his Rubik. KYXY will take on the Weaver. Mushi on the Windrunner. We'll be going mid with that, most likely. We are seeing X or Extinct playing the Chen. And the last one is, of course, the Nature's Prophet sitting in the base. Ohio will be playing that one.
Yep, And looking towards VG, going to try to get this win here, secure themselves a higher position in the group. FY on the support Nagasire. Oh, huh. Wow, interesting.
Ooh.
FY, who I would characterize as a star Visage player, will actually be on the Nagasire. This is another hero which positioning is important, execution is important, especially on those songs, so that's probably why they have him here. Fenrir will pilot up the Visage. I've seen him have good Visage games as well. Then ZSMJ fills out this tri-lane as the Gyrocopter. That will leave CTY. He's playing under an alias here. He's playing as...
Looney Boosey?
Yeah, yep, but that is CTY. People were asking about it in chat. This is CTY. It's not a stand-in. He's on the Beastmaster, and that leaves solo safe 2-2 on the Clockwork.
Yeah, and he'll be up against an aggressive Trilon by the looks of it. KYXY is hanging around there with a Weaver. It will be an aggressive jungling Chen. So that will be something that makes the jungle a bit more, well, a bit more safe on the dire side, that is. For example, if Nature's Prophet needs to rotate there, because he has got an aggressive Trilon against him.
Yeah. One thing VG do have working for them is so much of Orange is vulnerable to just the right initiation with Roar or Hookshot, and frequently lately we've seen Weavers building things like BKB. I actually think you cannot build BKB here. It's actually possibly worse than not building it at all.
There's a Roar and a net.
Well, they can also song you and just make you'll be vulnerable if you're actively BKB during the song duration, and still shut you down and kill you. So you can't BKB. You most likely are going to want to go for Lincolns, I think, but then that means that your ramp up for your damage is very slow. So Orange are going to have to be very careful with this Weaver by KYXY and maybe even have a backup plan for what's going to deal the damage.
Yeah, because I agree with the Lincolns, and it would be very strong, but as you mentioned, and as we said during the draft, they need damage, and they need it early on, because they can't really wait too long before taking action, because then PC Gaming will be getting ahead too far for Orange to catch up. Well, we'll see how they'll deal with that, and how aggressive, like we said, Net and Extinct are going to be. They are trying to clear out the Radiant jungle, getting themselves some levels, maybe wanting to wait until they're level 2 before trying to go on the Clockwork. Clockwork is not an easy gankable hero. He has cogs, he's got a tier 1 tower, of course, next to him as well. And maybe we're even going to see these two rotate to try and gank up mid instead, because of course Beastmaster, even though he is fairly tanky, he doesn't really have an escape mechanism. And in comes the telekinesis and the clap. The slow is there. Is there enough damage? Test of Faith, one more hit. First blood goes the way of Mushi's Windrunner. And that sets the tone. Mushi was already doing nicely on the last hit, 7-4, while Beastmaster was sitting on 4-1, and will get further ahead now that she managed to pick up the first blood.
Yeah, winning the mid lane, especially against a mid laner as strong as CTY, is a huge deal for Orange here. In fact, the better they can use the Chen Rubik roam to get kills on the mid and the solo lane, the better off they'll be. As like we said, there's a tremendous amount that's countering the Windrunner here. Sorry, the Weaver here. Obviously, the Ensnare, the Roar, the Hookshot. But if Windrunner can dominate her lane, if Chen and Rubik can generate a massive amount of opportunities, Orange are going to feel very good heading into the mid game to try to seize an advantage over VG.
Yeah, and of course, as the general rule goes for a Beastmaster, you want to have your level 6, you want to have your Roar to try and create space, blah blah. Shutting him down, therefore, is all the more important. And that is already, of course, something that Orange is heading towards. But look at the damage that Mushi is taking, actually. I mean, it seemed that for a little while, it seemed that she was quite, or he was quite, like, just sitting there, taking harassment from creeps. But it's starting to be, oh, she gets herself. He gets himself. That's good. I keep saying she because, of course, Windrunner being a she. Rotation, looking for a net. Ohio, TP's up the high ground. TP's away. Yep. Smart choice.
Once he's up on the high ground, he's just quite safe. FY and Fenrir, they're not going to be able to kill him easily there. Nice thing about Naga is she does have a little bit of burst damage on the Riptide that can get the ball rolling for that solo submission. But just a failed gank there. Ohio was playing smart. You don't want to be standing around here when you're clearing this creep wave for fear of exactly that happening. You want to be standing around here. Then you have a short trip to be out of line of sight. Nice play by him. And this tri-lane meeting, you know, not much in the way of opposition, but Ohio is, I think, doing okay.
Yeah, we knew that he was having a tough time, and we already mentioned for a second that he could indeed take refuge in the jungle, and of course he could do that as well, because Chen is of course in the Radiant jungle, which they, by the way, are still at. And they've actually smoked up, looking for the Clockwork. Mushi is in a lot of trouble. The double damage, we're not doing enough. Tutu though, he's rotating.
That was actually Mushi almost... What he tried to do was use the DD rune and then wind run to avoid tower damage and just kill CTY. Just a little too much health to actually chew through. They will try to gank him with Tutu, but with no hookshot, this is going to be very... It's going to be tricky. The Beastmaster is not very close to level 6.
Well, basically what he needs to do is sit next to Mushi and then put the cogs on, but Mushi is sitting in tower range, and Tutu, of course, you know, the moment he comes in tower range, it's going to be visible, and then it's done for. So Mushi, it's all about positioning. No pressure, dude, no pressure. We have got still, like, the smoked heroes. Net and Extinct were just wasting a ton of time. They smoked up. Then they knew they had to rotate because in comes Tutu, rotating from bottom towards middle. And they couldn't get anything done. But just also didn't take their time to farm. So we'll be coming to try and help maybe take down the tower a little bit more. In comes Tutu though. We'll be able to be there just to either get experience or at least force them back maybe with a couple of flares or something.
I mean, it's going to be a tier 1 for tier 1 trade, essentially. There's no way that Clockwork stops this, and I don't think there's any way they rotate a lot of people in. Well, actually, now that they have the tier 1 tower in their own right, perhaps. I think VG are playing this to the hilt, though. Other than that first blood, it's more or less going according to plan for them. Tutu actually trapped under the tower here. We'll see how heavily Orange want to dive it. I do want to note that ZSMJ's farm is tremendous. Like 44 for 15 at less than 6 minutes.
And he of course has free farm. The tower went down as well. Did he actually get the last hit on the tower? No. That was just for the Radiant overall. So that actually, you know, it could have been more, but yes, he is doing really well on the farm. He is not being stopped whatsoever. Ohio is actually only level 4. Not being able to stand on the lane really has hurt him quite a bit. He doesn't have Hand of Midas. But of course, once he gets that, he will be able to get ahead once again. That's the whole thing about being a Nature's Prophet. You might not level as fast before you have the Hand of Midas. Yeah.
How did they lose their courier? Did you spot that?
Where did that die? It died right there. This is the place where the supports just were. So, Net and X trying to make something happen. Found a courier.
They got a bottle.
That's actually quite important.
The Clockwork bottle. That's quite nice.
Yeah, well.
So the courier kill, I mean, that gives Orange a good dose of gold. If your Weaver's behind on farm, which he is, it's very nice to give him that 175 dose.
Oh, Mushi. Here comes the roar. Everybody comes from the other side of the tower. Cole down there as well. Mushi wind runs, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter one bit. Soul Assumption.
4 people for 1 Mushi.
Yeah.
Big respect.
Well, they took down the tier 1 tower. Bottom lane will tier 1 tower will finally drop as well, but it might actually get denied. FY, actually the net upon net. Typical. Yes, let's see if we can get a kill here. Net gets Cog. Tutu taking a ton of damage though. He takes out the wrong Cog. And Net will actually live unless the creeps don't want him to, but it looks like he will be able to TP himself home. And that means that that is a favorable trade for Orange. Of course, not counting in that Mushi and the tier 1 tower mid just died.
Yeah, it's a trade of basically a tower for a Clockwork, and that's not the worst trade you can have. Keep in mind, Tutu did manage to hit level 6, so he's got that hook shot. He can start helping to generate opportunities on, for instance, the Windrunner. And Weaver, I think he got the last hit on the tower. Yes, he did, so that'll give him some farm. You can see him already rushing that Linken's, and it's like we said, BKB, I almost feel like, is considered by some players to be the stronger overall option, but it's a no-go in this game. If he wants defense, and he will because of the amount of damage VG can throw out, it has to come in the form of that Linken's, and possibly even, he might go something like Linken's heavy damage item Heart, if it goes that long.
Now, how long do you think Orange has before, you know, that Gyrocopter will be too big to deal with? Because, of course, Gyrocopter, like you said, having free farm, highest on net worth, still closely followed by the Weaver.
He's been, some of his farm comes from treants, some of it comes from jungle creeps, but ZSMJ is farming very, very well. And it kind of comes down to how efficient his item choices are going to be as well. I am intrigued to see if he tries to go for something like the Helm of the Dominator, just to seize the farm advantage.
Oh, wow. Mushi, what you doing there? Has an Invis rune. Walks behind tier 1 and tier 2. Everybody, or 3 at least. Oh, and sentry ward.
Uh-oh.
1 net is all it takes.
They didn't see. They were all... Because the sentry ward, of course, only grants nominal vision, and he was out of line of sight relative to where they were standing.
At nighttime. Hook shot. Catches out net. Telekinesis to out of the cogs. But it doesn't matter. Net will still end up going down. Send home from Chen. Not in time. And Vici takes themselves a kill. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that Mushi can be quite happy with that that it was nighttime and that she was able to dodge that bullet.
Unquestionably. He could very, very easily have died. Instead, they do get 1 kill. I think VG, they would have loved to have more on the Visage, but it's like you're saying, Shiver, they feel quite comfortable if this starts to go a little bit longer, simply because the SMJ is positioned so well to transition into a carry role.
Yeah, and look at the Nature's Prophet, by the way. Because split pushing, of course, is going to be something for Orange that they're going to rely on quite heavily. And Ohio, he's been shut down hard on the top lane, couldn't get anything done. But now he has a Hand of Midas. He is level 7, which is a fairly respectable level. He's keeping on par, for example, with the Clockwork. So doing good in that aspect. And of course, he'll get his farm up.
Mushi. The very nice shackle, actually. He shackled CTY to the high ground trees near the rune spot so that he could pick up the haste. Haste Beastmaster is very, very scary because of the initiation capability of Primal Roar. So that shackle means more than it might seem on the surface, but they are smoked up.
And let's see if they can get something done here. They look for a target. Roar goes off on Mushi. Axes will fly as well.
Tangle.
And a net. And that should be a kill. The wind run already used. The Soul Assumption at least will be waiting a little bit. Actually, the haste rune will allow her to run away. Nice shackle, of course, right on the person that was able to finish her off. Mushi will live. And that is going to be a roar used. What?
Yeah, they used the roar. It's not that long cooldown. I feel as though perhaps that was a little bit of an early Soul Assumption. He used it when he had 3 charges. I understand that she was going to come right into the wind run, but perhaps he could have eked 5 or so charges out of it, and maybe that would have gotten the kill. It's tough to say. It's only a level 2 Soul Assumption. Fenrir hasn't really found levels, so it just doesn't do that much damage. In fact, it maxes out at 4 at level 2, so what am I even saying?
Yeah, Naga Siren support in the meantime almost level 6. And that will mean that they will have a bit of extra initiation if you want to. I think it's going to be mostly initiation. I hope it's going to be mostly initiation. Let's rephrase that. To try and have the song go for something. In the meantime, ZSMJ will end up going down here on the bottom lane. KYXY in a lot of trouble, but no detection, so should be able to make it out. Shackle, brilliant. Shackle, power shot as well. FY and Tutu, trouble for them. FY already down. Tutu pops the cogs. He's trying to run. How far can he actually run with the Weaver on his back, though? Hook shot. Nice. Time lapse away, and that will keep him safe.
Mushi lives on 2 HP.
Wasn't close. I was never worried.
You were never worried,
I was
alright.
never worried.
Fair enough. That was a defining play. They kill ZSMJ, the excellent shackle. That'll delay the BKB by quite a bit, and an important win in that engagement for Orange.
I think so too. I like the Clockwork. Like, if he was gonna continue running, he would have died. But he went aggressive, got the hook shot, almost kills off the Weaver, forces out a time lapse, and keeps himself safe. So that was some nice play, I thought, as well by Tutu. But we're gonna see if it's enough. I mean, Weaver still hasn't died yet. Chen still hasn't died yet. To be fair, I mean, it's 2-4. Not a very high kill score game. And I'm kind of like, if you look at this lineup, I would expect to see more kill scores. Orange, not really that much in terms of kills, more in terms of push and able to take down more towers, but they only got 1 tier 1 so far. But VC, I mean, having a Beastmaster should warrant for a kill every single time that roar cooldown is up, and it's not been the case.
Yeah, they did miss that 1 big kill on Mushi. I think VG, they don't necessarily feel completely uncomfortable yet, but that definitely gave them pause. Orange is farming their jungle. Like, you see Extinct just picking up a bunch of the creeps and heading out well before they can stop him. Can they get KYXY? Not without a gem, I don't think. Clever guess with the wild axes, but unfortunately not correct. He just went the obvious way. He went east, and KYXY makes it out fine. No deaths on this Weaver. And he has about 2,200 to go for the Lincolns, but he's going to hit it at a pretty reasonable timing at this rate.
I'm not sure why Orange sticks around, because it looks like they are... it looks like they're preparing for a fight, but they're only 2. And they're up against 5. Now, they don't know yet that they're up against 5. But it's gonna be a battle if they continue sticking around here. They just want to take down the tier 1 tower. Of course, this is the last tier 1 tower standing on the side of Orange. Orange, who is still gold ahead in this game though. 4.5k.
They're gonna take the tier 1. And their own red as well. Maybe it's a deny. It probably will get denied. Oh, maybe not. Hook shot in.
Oh, top. Ohio will end up going down, lands his ultimate before he drops at least. And actually, no, he tried, he didn't get it. Tough luck for him. And that's another.
They get the courier again, and I think FY is probably dead here. KYXY can easily finish him off with the help of the Chen.
Test of Faith.
Love when they get a Test of Faith kill. Always good times. Extinct is actually at 22,000 floating gold, so he'll be able to get that mechanism quite soon. And that'll give Orange some decent punching and push sustain.
Yeah, and the courier going down in a very awkward location, like he was on the bottom lane. You see the feet laying around there? You see
Two
the feet?
couriers is...
It's a lot of gold.
a lot of giving away.
Like, I just said, like, in terms of towers, of course that's no longer the case because they just took the tier 1, but they only had 1 tower down. Now 2, the towers are even, but having 2 couriers is like having 2 mini towers, so we can call it 1 tower and a little bit. So that's already extra gold going away for Orange, and that's gold that Vici is not gonna get at all, unless they get themselves some couriers, which, you know, overall you should always assume that you're not gonna get those. The couriers, that is.
Yeah, and so I think Orange are playing this correctly. They're now only ZSMJ is really farming particularly well. CTY is more sort of relied on, you know, I'm going to try to get those roars, I'm going to try to set up kills. They do find Rubik in the top, and 2-2 will get out. That's a nice kill, but I feel that with this Visage composition, they wanted to create more space, and maybe even for either Beastmaster or Clockwork to be able to build major items, and right now that's not really happening. It's mostly just ZSMJ rushing his BKB.
Yeah, we'll see how long it takes for that, because of course he already got the Ogre Claw, put him into Hammer, so just the recipe. KYXY in the meantime almost has his Lincolns ready. What does that mean? Do you know that? You can speak it a little bit.
No I don't, but maybe somebody in stream will let us know.
Oh well. They go again. Of course, players are sitting right next to each other, actually. I wonder if that gives a bit of an edge to the teams that aren't Chinese.
How so?
Well, because maybe you can hear each other.
Oh, you mean because of the non-soundproof booths?
Yeah, they're just sitting there. I don't even know if they got soundproof headset. I don't think so.
I don't believe so, and I do think that favors ROTK because of all the trash talk. Right?
Well, if we would believe Too Good, he believes in trash talking your opponents, and therefore winning games by, you know, calling in on their mental stability. And in that case, RTK indeed is gonna win.
DK have this wrapped up, no problem.
Yep,
Easy
think so
game,
too.
easy life.
Think so too. Oh well, we'll see. I think it gives a little bit of an edge to non-Chinese speaking teams compared to 2 teams that speak Chinese, that is. But because maybe it actually favors Chinese
team here,
True.
right? And I'm pretty sure they're either all fluent in Chinese or most of them are. I know Mushi is.
Because there are Chinese casters, obviously.
Of course.
I wonder if the players can hear them.
I don't know. I suspect not, and if they are, they'll do the thing the casters do when players can hear you, which is you don't give away any information.
Basically, you have a very awkward cast.
So they're gonna head in. They've got a medallion. Who's it actually up on? Is it up on Rubik? Yeah, Rubik picked up a medallion. Always love this. It's gonna speed up your Roshan clear time. Nice thing is VG do have the Clockwork. Always gives you the good opportunity to scout it. They know this is happening. I don't know if Orange are gonna have time to finish this off. Yeah, they don't.
Well, Tutu is thinking about maybe getting a hookshot. No. Everybody left and his flare scouted it out. Well, no Roshan for now. Meantime, Weaver pushing bottom, so even though he wasn't at the Roche attempt, he's at least able to force people bottom again, and he's actually gonna TP out. Ooh, the flare. They know where he is. The hookshot is there. The Hawk comes in. Nice time lapse. KYXY gets roared though, and that is gonna be the gem on Beastmaster, making sure that he gets that kill. 2-2 dominating. And that is gonna be one happy Clockwork. He is 4-1-0. And the only one he has was before he started getting those 4 kills, of course.
Yep. The 2-2 has had a very good game. He's got pretty big shoes to fill, as I mean, I think a lot of people considered XTT to already be an extremely competent offlaner. And 2-2, he was unconvincing on the Slark earlier, I have to say, but part of that was just the Slark pick in general. And on this Clockwork, he's had a quite good game. He didn't have the easiest lane, but he's done well for himself.
Yeah, look at Mushi, by the way. He managed to pick himself up in Ultimate Orb, so Hex on the way, I would say. And his net worth is higher than that of the free farming Gyrocopter. And we talked about the Gyrocopter, who, by the way, turned on his BKB. That was his first charge, and that was his first charge, and there was nobody around. So I think it was a misclick. Instead of TPing, he actually pressed his BKB.
Ouch.
Yeah, very ouch.
That's a pretty big deal.
Maybe yeah, that's a pretty big deal. That's a 10-second BKB gone. But nonetheless, we talked about it. ZSMJ. He was doing very well in the top lane. He got tons of last hits, he got the tower, he got ahead on net worth, he got ahead on gold. But now Windrunner, she's top. She's died once, she's got a kill and an assist, but she has just been farming real well in terms of last hits. 106 last hits, yeah. Roshan will this time go down, and this time Vici is gonna be too late. But then again, they wouldn't have had the BKB from the gyro.
Right. If they were to initiate, it would be with a Gyrocopter who does not have BKB. You're extremely liable to get shackled. Even telekinesis in a tight, confined space could just completely ruin your day. And so I actually think VG made the right decision to not even bother. Like, they didn't even move for the Roche, even though they had to have surmised that it was happening. I think they also clock rocketed it.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to contest Roche, it's better to just ignore it, because otherwise you just waste a lot of people's time getting close. So the correct decision, and it's just kind of infelicitous that they had to make it. And the reason they didn't was, you know, Gyro was not equipped to be there.
Yeah, equipped he was, I guess. He just didn't have, the cooldown. It's a sad thing. I mean, that's a mistake that I could have made, and I very rarely make that mistake. Actually, I've only clicked BKB once, but that was when I was trying to move it and I accidentally clicked it rather than dragging it. Oh, hook shot in! Nice 4-step forward, Axe! Gonna at least not get Cogs, still running for his life though. Here comes the song. Now there will be Cogs and a call down. Looks like Mushi is already dead, no send home for him, even though they tried. That's gonna be 2 on the board, and Ned running for his life right now. In the meantime, on the top lane, KYX looking for 2-2. It's gonna be able at least to pick up the tier 2 tower. That's an okay... It's not a good trade, but at least it's a trade.
It is somewhat of a trade. He actually gets the last hit as well. This is the end of the Lincolns. Yes, it's coming to him on the Courier. So that's very, very nice, but this is a pretty good pickup for VG as well. They got the Chen, they got the Windrunner, and they got every single Chen creep. That's a little bit of extra gold, and it means that he has to spend some time re-establishing a creep army that he's happy with.
Yeah, Ohio doing some nice split pushing. Has got himself the Shadow Blade, but downside when you have a Shadow Blade and there's a Weaver on the team, Beastmaster already has a gem. So it's not going to be all that effective unless Beastmaster doesn't come along to try and gank up on the Nature's Prophet who is split pushing out.
Well, the Shadow Blade is primarily for that split push. So actually, if Beastmaster leaves to try to handle the Nature's Prophet, like if Beastmaster is the one TPing back, you're pretty happy with this, because that roar is so important to lock down, you know. I mean, we'll have to see how the Lincolns changes the mathematics for Weaver, but, you know, for locking down Mushi... Wow, that's the 3rd last hit on towers that KYXY has had this game. He's picking up so much farm just off those tower last hits. And the Couriers. Like, all 3 cores of Orange are all very close together in net worth, and they're all matching ZSMJ. That's the wages of these towers and Couriers coming through.
Yeah, and indeed, like I said, ZSMJ, the only one that can keep up with those 3 cores of Orange that are doing so well on the farm. He is building towards an MKB. He has just picked up his Demon Edge, so, you know, doing quite an amount of damage. Next team fight, I mean, still, a Gyrocopter BKB'd with Flak Cannon Rocket Barrage is going to still be very powerful. The downside is, he hasn't been able to get it yet because Orange is forcing Vici Gaming all over the place. And that's, of course, courtesy of the Nature's Prophet, but not just Ohio. Because also Weaver is split pushing a little bit. Like you said, we just saw him taking his 3rd tower of the game. No surprise there. Because he has been the one that's just been pushing. Oh, shut in up on Ohio. 4 staff. Nope. That was just... oh, that was actually a 4 staff coming off from Mushi. Nature's Prophet trying to TP out. Won't be able to do so. Net up on Mushi. Mushi doesn't have a roar. A 4 staff anymore. Gets roared. Goes down. Double kill for Fenrir. Visage takes both.
That's just fine. Visage has actually struggled to get too much farm up until this point. This will at least mean tier 2 boots, or do they have a medallion of their own? I haven't seen them medallioning. They could pick up the medallion with this money. Oh, they pick off 2-2 in the top though. That's actually a very nice kill. Is he the highest level? Yeah, he's tied for the highest level on VG. This is a little bit of XP that they could pick up from this as well as AoE gold.
KY is like, nobody's here. Let's do some damage to the tier 3.
He doesn't care, because when Clockwork is dead, they can't even roar him because it'll just click on the Lincolns. They would need Gyrocopter to use the homing missile to turn the Lincolns off and then roar. And even then he's got Aegis and time-lapse.
Yep, it is a very comfortable position I think that he is in right now. Farming on the other side of the map, if you will, by himself. Looks like we are going to have a bit of a rotation though. Rotation coming up from Vici Gaming, looking for him probably, looking for the Weaver, but they won't be able to find him. Weaver already back to the secret shop, and he buys himself a Demon Edge as well, so I'm thinking he gonna go for a MKB as well.
I think MKB is the most likely option. We've seen Daedalus, it's not as bad as people say. Of course the Geminid attack cannot crit, so that's definitely a deficiency of it, but it's great for auto attack damage. I think it's probably an MKB though, simply because Butterfly is such a popular option on Gyrocopter and it forestalls that. Of course ZSMJ going for his own MKB, but KYXY, I feel like he's getting there faster.
Well,
is he getting there faster? Yeah, he is. He's got higher GPM.
In terms of growth minute, it's only 20 difference though. So for example, one tower going down on the side of Orange will make a big difference already. But overall, he should be getting there faster. Of course, a slight head start for the gyro. He has got already one of his staffs ready. And Weaver, not quite there yet. Needs 1k before he's at the same place. But yeah, he's farming faster, so we'll see who gets there first. As we are gonna have ZSMJ getting harassed a little bit, but nothing more than that.
Weaver's 1-up has run out.
Oh, shot misses. The roar is still gonna be there though. Riptide, Nets, Ohio, Hand of God keeps him up, but oh, actually stick charges. Still alive? Nope, still dead. There we go. He buys back though. Wants to be back here. Here comes the song.
It's the disengage song.
The disengage song. The no-go siren.
Oh, but they'll still get caught.
Yeah, the Sprout is there. The Shackle doesn't ledge. Doesn't need to ledge. That's no-go siren dead.
Nice kill for Orange, but they did buy back for this, so they're gonna want more. They're gonna want more from that buyback from Ohio. And maybe the tier 2 tower is it. VG did use a defensive cooldown, so they don't have that big AoE, that big slow. I think this means Orange can at least take the tier 2 without too much issue.
Yeah, there's still a fortification up on Vici Gaming if they want to try that, but... Well, that's gonna be still Weaver picking up. Just because he hasn't had enough towers so far. Hook shot! Gen clip dead. Forced off into safety for Mushi, getting chased down, but it should be fine. Should be fine indeed. There we go. That's everybody out of the Radiant side of the map. And this is Orange getting ahead. They are ahead with 12k gold, with an experience lead of only 1.2k or so, which is really not that much. But then again, the kill score is in favor of Vici Gaming, and as long as Orange is keeping their map control, keeping their control, they won't give Vici Gaming any time to get up their farm.
Yeah, only 10 kills for VG, and it's not even so much the lineup. Like, yes, this is a lineup that wants to get kills and continue rolling with kills, but it's also a team that likes to do that. And one thing that VG haven't done this game, I mean, they only stacked this set of Ancients once, and Shiva, unless I missed it, I don't think they even cleared it any time. So ZSMJ is the only one farming, and he's just not farming especially quickly. And as this game transitions into the later game where you need your gyro to already be in a position to carry or be way ahead, they don't have either one, and Orange are increasingly able to just duel and kill the gyro in an extended engagement.
Yeah, and look at Beastmaster. He actually picked up a 4 staff. Now we see Beastmasters with Blink Daggers, with Agonimses, but this is a 4 staff, of course, also used to help his teammates. And that just means that they are feeling like they're slightly behind, so not only does he want the mobility to go for fast roars, because that's of course nice, that's why you pick it up, but also does he want the experience or the savior potential from both himself as well as teammates. And that just shows a bit what kind of state CTY thinks this game is in for his team.
Well, At this point, there's 1 minute until the next Roshan. I think VG have not terrible odds of being able to take it. The issue is that unless they get a very good start and they can take 1 or 2 heroes out with these critical Clockwork and Beastmaster ultimates, in a longer fight they won't hold up. They'll have to try to use the other question is how they use the Song of the Siren, of course. Song of the Siren, great for instance, stealing an Aegis out from under the nose of the team that's getting it. So Orange will have to be careful as well that isn't sort of a wrench in their plans.
Yeah, they're still not out of the woods, and I mean, the later this game goes, the fatter Gyrocopter will get, of course, who has finished up his MKB before the Weaver, by the way, in the end. Oh, they go for the Roar. Axes, KOAXY, no time lapse, no hope. It's a kill, a good kill as well. Should be resulting in at least a tier 1, if not more. But they are actually gonna get forced back. Ohio, doing nature's proper things, split pushing, only for gonna find the Gyrocopter, but it is, and actually, he saves his own tier 1 tower with that. And
Sorry, with what?
Ohio
forced
back,
splitting up the push of VG, absolutely. And VG, sorry, I think Orange, they still have more or less control of the Rush Pit, they still control most of the map. I do like the Aghanims for Tutu. It's an efficient use of his money, and he has been landing some pretty good hook shots, so having 12-second cooldown lets him get in and potentially out of a fight in effective fashion.
Yeah, I feel like they, like with their lineup, I don't mean right now, I feel like they could be having more control over the game. But somehow it is still Orange that knows how to deal with the amount of control that Vici has just by virtue of their heroes.
Yeah.
And Orange just able to just maneuver through the obstacles that Vici throws at them and at least able to get the control. And they go for the Beastmaster. Nice hex upon Mushi. Telekinesis there as well.
The gem.
Bushi goes down. That's a oh!
Nope.
There's a gem.
Nice little power shot there, and that's VG's gem lost.
Oh no, it's not lost. It's sitting on the floor. FY.
Nice.
Pick it up. TP out. Run. TP. 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 Here comes Mushi looking for the shackle positions. Can't find the right one. Now he can. Which one is it? It's this one. Shackle doesn't latch anymore though. No tower around, but they still want to try and take him. And that is going to be the gem on the floor again still. Nice attempt to get the gem out of there, but he should have TP'd straight away.
I don't understand. He like danced around the gem, then picked it up, then continued dancing. Why not just take it and TP if you were going to do that? Yeah. It's a pretty big deal to try to recover that gem. I mean, they have another one that they can buy. It's been ages since CTY had it.
They just purchased it already.
Right.
Just
so they already have another one.
Yeah, oh, hook shot in up on Mushi. He's gonna get sent home though, should be in time. Yep, there he goes. X is gonna be out as well. Nice save. Very clear, very sure. And looks like Roshan is almost down to half it. It's below half HP. It's going very fast, of course, with that medallion there. And that should be a pickup. The hook shot is off cooldown again because there was an Aghanims up on the Clockwork. So let's see if Tutu can get it. But look at these trions. They're just blocking Tutu, making sure the hook shot is gonna be easy. It still hits, but it misses, or at least it still goes, but it misses. Hex.
Tutu now has to run out of this. The double hex is so strong, because they only have one BKB.
Yeah, and does Vici Gaming actually want to fight this? Because of course Orange right now, they are ahead and they have an Aegis. So you should not really want to fight, especially not knowing that the song was still on cooldown. They in the end back off, of course. But
yeah, I mean, they've got this new Aegis on KOXY. He hasn't really improved his position that much, as in he's still sitting on Demon Edge, probably going to finish that MKB, or the Daedalus if he wants it fairly soon, but not quite yet. Right now, it's the two scythes that are really unanswered by VG. Their ability, Orange's ability to just lock somebody down for 7 seconds, or 2 people for 3.5 seconds, just gives them so much disable to get through a fight, more than I think VG can possibly handle.
Yeah, and then, I mean, in a fight, okay, Orange already getting a bit ahead, then you've got yourself split push potential, and Orange, I mean, okay, I criticize them, I will admit that I am wrong. Was wrong about their lineup. I mean, they're able to hold Vici Gaming down, lock them in position, and with in position I don't mean by disables, but I mean just by forcing them. I mean, they're not farming in their jungle, they're not farming in the dire jungle, they're not really farming that far out of their lane, so
yeah,
their space to move around in is so small, purely by Orange's dominance over the map.
Exactly, and Orange's mobility. Another
Yeah.
aspect of Orange's mobility right now, Net on this Rubik has stolen the Aghanim's Clockwork Ultimate. So keep in mind, if your target has an Aghanim's, or if you have an Aghanim's, you get the Aghanim's Ultimate. So this Clockwork Ags right now is not really working for them all that well, because Rubik for another, it looks like 2.5 minutes, has just as good of hookshot capability as the Clockwork does.
The only thing he'll lack is the cogs, of course.
Well, sure.
But he has
You
like
can't have everything.
if he hooks on someone and it's just gonna be one target, I mean he's gonna hook someone, telekinesis, fate bolt, buying time for his team to get there, and that's a dead target as well. So very strong, and Orange is actually going for a smoke.
I like it. I mean, honestly, just hookshot in with Net, follow it with some of these Scythes of Vice. You can kill Gyro before he BKBs.
Yeah. Especially if you have some heckle shots with that. Force staff, Hex first, FY. Gonna get shackled as well, but first the hook still hits, and FY goes down. The hook shot was that, of course, Net, using the very short range hook to just get a mini stun out.
Yep, it's a pretty good stun, honestly. It's 1.5 seconds. It's not the level 3 stun because 2-2 isn't level 16 yet, but even just the 1.5 second stun is a great addition to your disable suite.
And we do now have an ancient stack being pulled up though, but it's only 3. And I think the same thing goes. I don't think ZSMJ was actually here before. It was 2 sets of dragons before, and now it's again 2 sets of dragons.
3 sets, yeah.
3 sets right now, yeah.
Yeah, somebody in the chat raised the point that they haven't really had control of this area of the map much, but this is a smart time to start trying to do it. And he has gone this Hummel the Dominator, which means, you know, you might as well. Orange doing a nice little bit of treant scouting. They can see when CSMJ decides to farm up that area.
Yeah, and because of it, he leaves one big dragon standing. That's like another 200 gold for whoever walks there first.
Well, more importantly, it won't be another set. If he had cleared out the treant and the dragon, another set would spawn.
Hook shot, Ohio. Force staffs himself away, or gets force staff rather. 2-2 though. He is gonna go down. The song will save his life. Cooldown comes down, Mushi, trouble, Mushi getting roared, picked off, the send home is gonna be too late. The song used by Net to get away. What a nice steal, and that, in theory, should never be possible to get stolen. Ever.
Very nice play by Net, frankly. I'm extremely impressed. The hookshot steal was huge, and then, you know, when it served its purpose, when they needed to disengage from a fight that looked to be going quite badly, he picks up the Song of the Siren. Like you said, Shiver, it is rare to see a Rubik using a Song of the Siren, but he manages to get it out. I wish it would be really great if Valve programmed a voice like Rubik singing the song for when he does it.
That would be so annoying.
That would be amazing. Are you kidding me?
It is like Rubik already has got such an awkward voice, like the Grand Megas like that, and then you hear a song with that, and it's like no, doesn't work. I think that would be very awkward. I mean,
it would be awkward, but
yeah, okay, it would be a funny awkward perhaps, but I think it's gonna be only funny for like the first 2 times that you see it, and then like, okay, please don't steal the song, please don't steal the song. That, to be fair, it doesn't happen that often, so maybe.
Exactly, it's like a once in a lifetime thing, so not once in a lifetime, but fairly rare. And Orange, I mean, their ability to just farm and steal so much of this jungle, they can, if they're walking through the jungle, they can just steal 2 of the creeps in it and clear the rest out, and that Radiant jungle is working better for Orange than it is for VG. Meanwhile, for the other side of it, VG really can't go into Orange's jungle and try to farm it, because this tier 2 is still up. It's a great staging area for Orange to just teleport the Weaver in and just get a couple kills. You basically need the Naga as like a bodyguard for the Gyro to try to use Song and disengage, and VG have to find an area of the map that's safe for them to get the Gyro enough ahead that he can carry these team fights. He does have MKB Satanic BKB, and that's a great start, but he might even need more.
I think he does need more. Definitely because this Weaver is getting bigger and bigger as we speak. And not only him is the source of damage, no, Nature's Prophet also picked up a Demon's Edge. So, and it's all physical, of course, as well. I mean, he has a BKB, that's awesome. But the physical damage is still gonna be there, and I'm really hoping for Desolator for the Weaver next. Because that minus armor is just gonna... It's just gonna chew through the Gyrocopter, and he's gonna have such a tough time. And by the way, talking about Rubik taking over the voice of the song, if he does that, then he has to have a voice for every single spell he steals. Like, if a hero would otherwise say something like, come to me when the Train Protector makes trees, should be having that as well, or, you know, healing power.
Well, there's visual effects for some spells, but not others, so I think it's okay to have audio. I mean, I'm sure Valve, if they get some time, are going to add more effects on, and time permitting. There's a certain extent to which you don't want to cause confusion, like what the hell is actually going on. It's a fine balance that you have to strike. Nonetheless, Orange, I think they're using their advantage just the right way. They're sort of pressing over. This is the one thing I worry about with the Lincolns. There are sort of incidental ways to get rid of it, especially the homing missile. Homing missile is a spell that's, I mean, clearly ZSMJ doesn't regard this homing missile as very good. He's gone for 8 points in stats rather than a second point in it.
Yeah.
This is fairly typical. I don't disagree with it. But the 1 point is actually a very big deal. If they can use it to clear Weaver Lincolns and immediately follow up with something like, oh, CTY getting completely caught out. He won't make it to that Invis route. Maybe he will.
He didn't pick it up. Got denied.
That was a smart deny, because otherwise he walks away.
Oh, he walked right into it because he thought he was going to get saved. But he gets hexed, and in comes KYX by the song, though. Oh, whoa, the Gemini attack! The bug! No, he lives. Everybody backs off. No go Siren.
Fenrir.
Shackle doesn't latch. Power Shot does a ton of damage, as well as, of course, a Test of Faith coming up from the Chen. That must have been one of the bigger Tests of Faith that you can get. Of course, it's a bit of random damage there.
CTY walks out of that, you'd rather lose the Visage than you would the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
It would be nice to get Visage something like, you know, one of his stretch goal items like Aghanims, but even then, what if Rubik steals your 3 familiars? Not a great thing to have happen. He doesn't... I wish he had Medallion, but again, Fenrir, nobody has any income coming into this team. A little is coming into CTY, and almost all of it's coming into ZSMJ. You want your Gyrocopter to be greedy, but it's at the cost of some of these items that can also help you out in the backcourt. Like, so for instance, where's their mechanism? Non-existent, right?
Nope.
So...
And then you go back, like, who would build the mechanism for his team? Oh, Lincoln's pop and the roar was there, but everybody runs. But yeah, who would pop the mechanism? By the way, I love this. CTY, we took... Wait a second, did the hook... Yeah, this time the hook shot hit. 4-star forward from net, doesn't work, net goes down. So we talked about the... Wait a second, KYX, I don't... Oh, yeah. Can I please finish my sentence? Don't go for it. So, top lane, Ohio, invisible in the net. You're not invisible in the net, and that is going to be him running away and dying as well. The gem was there.
Naga Siren is holding onto a gem as well, so even outside of the ensnare, it's not going to happen. But Orange's split push is quite mighty at this point. They have a Weaver that does very good damage. Here comes the chase, but I don't think they do anything.
Weaver's going to send home, and that's going to be a TP out. So, CTY, he has got that 4-stop. We talked about that already. He actually uses it on the Weaver before he gets the roar off, just to tick the Lincolns off.
Sure.
Like, 4-staff, roar, done. And I really like that.
It's very smart if you, I mean, and you definitely, any fight in which either Hook or Roar is eaten by the Lincolns, if you commit it in, like if your heroes aren't, for instance, doing that from the high ground, you lose that fight. KYXY just kills you in concert with their other 2 well-farmed players.
Talking about well-farmed players, there is a Hex up on the Chen. Extinct.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good for a Chen.
He is. The more hexes they get, I mean, just the more pressure is layered onto VG, because they won't get a BKB. Like, they won't have the money to do it for any player other than ZSMJ. To his credit, he hasn't used that many charges of the Gyro BKB. Here they come with a smoke, trying to make something happen. Yeah,
we're trying to buy the Roshan, basically. 2-2 already goes up on net, telekinesis to the other side of the cogs, though, and he pops his own cogs. Hand of God mechanism, keep net up. Here comes the BKB's cooldown's going down as well. Net will get sent home. That's at least something. Roar goes up on KYXY. He doesn't have a time lapse, goes down but buys back. And actually could TP, or he's actually gonna TP rather than time lapsing himself back into the fight. Yeah, they're gonna fight at the tier 2 on the bottom lane, looking for a target, finding only creeps for now, but the shackle goes off and 2-2 gets shackled. CTY getting hexed up, getting stunned up, and getting killed off. In comes ZSMJ, tries to do what he can. His BKB is already used. There's a gem on the floor, but nobody cares. Nice shackle. That should be another pickup going the way of Orange. Everybody back alive again on Orange. The only one that ended up dying was the Weaver. It was very nicely done, but it is gonna, yeah, with the buyback.
Fenrir barely makes it out. KYXY is still gonna chase him.
I was gonna say,
I
like,
think he catches up. I think Fenrir is
yeah,
dead.
one more Geminite attack should be enough, actually. This one hit. Yeah, there we go. Buyback from the Gyrocopter, though. Quite... Well, he actually wants to just defend his base. Okay, noble. But it's Roshan going the way of Orange.
It's Roshan, and it's a team fight in which they completely cleaned up VG. They lose KYXY, but they get so much. Targeting the Naga first, using their first Scythe on her was the absolute correct decision. VG, once they saw that the fight wasn't going their way, every single time that's happened before, they've used the song to get out. ZSMJ, Scythe device, there's nobody there to finish him off, but just, you know, Mushi showing him that he's still in trouble, even in his own base, as they clear out the Aegis.
Yeah, and of course, one more important thing is, I mean, right now, Orange has 2 gems, both that they didn't bought themselves. CTY has bought 2 gems this game, so, I mean, that's 800 gold per gem, right?
850.
It's 50. That's even more. So we got ourselves 1700 gold already being shifted over by Orange. But because Orange all of a sudden has got a gem that they didn't have to buy, they save gold as they get gold. So you can even count it more than just 1700 gold taken away from CTY. It is such a big deal. And does VC actually have got themselves a new gem? They do. Do they really want to buy it? I doubt it. Because they already spent gold and they don't want to give Orange another gem. I mean, it doesn't matter, like... Yeah. It's not like they're not going to have a gem anymore.
For instance, if Beastmaster were to buy another gem, he would take himself out of buyback range, which is certainly more important than having the gem, even as valuable as the gem is.
Yeah, Beastmaster, who is sitting on a lower net worth than the Chen.
Yeah, and it's just because... Again, Gyrocopter is monopolizing their farm, as a Gyrocopter is wont to do when you don't have map control. It's great that Gyrocopter is able to get flash farm so quickly, more quickly than almost any other carry, but when you're losing, when you don't have control of extra lanes or your own jungle for your alternative heroes to get the farm that they want, you end up relying more and more on the Gyrocopter as things go on. Yeah. And at this point, is he able to win a stand-up duel? Well, the answer is maybe. If everything lines up correctly and they use the BKB and Gyrocopter is able to duel throughout the duration of that BKB, yeah, I think CSMJ can still do very well. There's only one Ghost Scepter up. Oh, here's a fight.
Hook shot, finds him the Chen. Chen should be fine though. The roar goes off of him as well. Now he's not so fine. Now he goes down. That's 1 gem on the floor. And that's the rest of our Orange trying to flee, but they can't, because here comes the song. The cooldown as well. They go on net. Net will get picked off. It is gonna be KYXY that actually comes back in. Not sure why. Everybody on VC. Oh, I know why. Top lane. Look at that. In comes the hate train. Mushi and Ohio. Hex up on the Gyro. Nice combination with the Shackle and the Sprout. And they will be able to get the melee Rex here. They lose 2, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter one bit. 1 lane of Rex definitely worth that. Though they do lose both of the gems, I believe.
It's okay. No buyback for ZSMJ. They don't have to think about him for 75 seconds. They get a lane of racks. All they lose are the 2 supports. Orange they played VG there like a fiddle. Another kill, I mean a bonus kill on CTY. He's got buyback, but why would you buy back if you're CTY here? I think you just hope that your team doesn't straight up lose the game by the time Gyrocopter comes back.
Yeah.
He may be pressured into buying back, simply to avoid losing.
This is so annoying to deal with. Like, KYXY, he is gonna drop... Yeah, no time left. He drops the gem, there was a second one. But while he took down the tier 3 tower, there was already... Look at the tier 3 tower on the mid lane. It is just looking so bad. And in comes Nature's Prophet, and he just clears out everybody. And this is just... They deal with so many farmed heroes, and they only have 1 themselves. As we are gonna see CTY going down again. That's gonna be Naga Siren dead. Net up, but the birds still fly, because that's cool. And that's gonna be another Rex down, another set of Rex down, because there's nothing here that VC can do. And they should be calling the GG, because they don't have buybacks. Their entire team is dead.
Yeah, it's Megas.
And Orange, split pushing, in the end, wins them the game. Although I think if they just went muscle through it, they would have gotten it as well. Their advantage, 25k gold. 15k experience.
I mean, VG's approach of a heavy... The idea is the heavy kills cover for Gyro, and Gyro out farms before the 3 farmers of Orange get dangerous. And instead, they held down Ohio early, but there was really no pressure coming out on... I mean, there's some intermittent pressure, but just look at how big this Nature's Prophet is at the end of this game.
Yeah, Hand of Midas, MVP.
26k net worth. I think he just got Weaver's net worth. No, 29k net worth at the end of the game for this Nature's Prophet. He was able to so effectively split push, and he didn't even have to use the cheese until after the whole thing was over, until after he had basically locked VG out. Unfortunately, they didn't get as many kills as I think they wanted early, and the game sort of devolved into 1 person farming against 3.5 people farming.
Yeah. In the end, it worked out perfectly. BC taking another loss in this one. Orange getting their first win in the group stages. For, of course, the Red Bull Esports Champions League, the one that you are watching right now. We are gonna jump ourselves into the next game. Depending on how much downtime there is, it's been real good today, so I'm expecting like 10 to 15 minutes tops. Next game that is gonna come up will be Vici taking on LGD China. So that's gonna be another Group A matchup, and we'll be back for that as long as we get... There we go, the end screen. I was gonna say that took some time. But we are gonna go head ourselves into the next game. Of course, this is a Beyond the Summit presentation. You are watching Vikermont, my co-caster, and me, myself, Shiver. You can follow us on Twitter. I will tweet. No, I will not tweet. I will post our Twitters in the chat once I get my chat working again, because it stopped working. And, yeah. Let's head ourselves over to the next game.